welcome to the TalkWrite Show. I'm your host, Wayne Stennett, and with me tonight is my co-host, as usual, Nick Sullivan, and we're just hanging out with some very longtime friends and family. And Nick, why don't you take over and introduce our guests?
All righty. Well, we have with us Axel Blackwell from the. Do you have a flybridge or are you just on the main deck?
Yeah, it's a flybridge up on top of old 1942 I'm sorry, 1978 42-foot trawler. That's what
Nice.
I am.
Well, Axel Blackwell is a writer of a number of books, and we'll talk about those shortly. But he co-wrote three books with Dawn Lee McKenna that are absolutely phenomenal. I had the rare pleasure to narrate them, and we also have members of Dawn's family, and I'm going to let you say exactly the connection for all of us. But we have Kat Scheidler and Debbie Allen, or Debbie Maxwell Allen, if you prefer. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, but then we want folks to talk about Dawn, because I think that's why a lot of viewers are going to be tuning in to hear about her. Kat, how about you start?
Okay. Well, I am Dawn's oldest daughter, the firstborn. I'm sure most of the fans know me because she always put me on the spot. And I have taken over her publishing side of the company and managing everything and hoping to continue her legacy.
And Debbie, what is your connection?
Yeah, I am Dawn's cousin, first cousin. Her mom and my dad were brother and sister, and so we've known the family for a long time, although I hadn't met all of Dawn's kids until a couple of years ago. But I'm also an author. I was working as an editor for Dawn's books and helping her with some admin tasks as well. And yeah, publishing my own books.
She's also my editor.
And oh, you edit for Axel as well. Were you editing for him on his Detective McDaniel series? Or?
Oh, yes, I love them dearly.
Fantastic.
We need more.
Those are some really, really cool books.
Yes.
I've read every one of Axel's books, and Dawn's, of course, too. And when they team up, those three in the Stillwater series are just really, really taut.
I was fortunate enough to narrate those, and I've narrated over 600 audiobooks to this point. And those were some of the best. They had just the perfect balance of mystery and giving you enough without giving away. And sometimes, a mystery kind of feels like a cheat because you dump things on the end, but no, everything was there. And the humor was marvelous. I loved the characters. That sort of workplace snark, it was just fantastic. It was such a good series. And if you haven't read or listened to the Stillwater suspense series, go out there and get it. Let me ask, I'm going to go right into this. Are there any additional plans for the Stillwater suspense series?
Don't everybody talk
matter.
Axel, you've had your hands on that steering wheel for a while here at the end. And what are your plans? Will it continue?
So I get so many requests for additional books in that series, and I know that I can't write that series the way it deserves to be written without Dawn. And at the same time, I know that we need more books in that series because the story isn't over. There's more stories to be told. And so, yes, there's going to be more books in there. And as a matter of fact, I have the first third of an outline for book 4, and that is my primary project when I'm not at work. I'm going to be diligently working to produce a 4th book in that series, and I'm expecting that within 12 months that will be available for my readers. But there's no way that I can do that by myself. I need somebody. I'm not from the South. I'm not from the East. I'm not really from anywhere, to tell you the truth, but I live up here in the Pacific Northwest. And to write a good Florida book, I need a good Florida voice. And that's kind of been holding me up. That's why I wasn't going to attempt book 4 until I found somebody that can help me with that. And I have found a co-author who's going to help me make that book fit the fit the tone and the dialect that I need. And so the two of us are going to produce a 4th book in the series, and hopefully a 5th book in the series, at least 2 more, and probably beyond that. So,
but you're not
so that's
quite
your
ready
answer.
to reveal who that is yet, right?
No, we're keeping the co-author under wraps for now. Writing a mystery is all about suspense. I can't give you all the
But it
You
will
don't
be
have
announced. It will be announced soon on the newsletter, right?
Yes, if you
Maybe.
are, I'm sorry,
I said maybe.
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 now.
Yes, if you are a newsletter subscriber, you will be the first to know, because Dawn's audience is what made. I mean, Dawn was an amazing writer, but Dawn's audience is what made the books and her career so amazing. Is the love between Dawn and her audience, and so we're going to respect that. We're going to treat Dawn's audience with the utmost respect, and they're going to be the ones that hear this first. Those people in the newsletter. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we sent out a newsletter like 2 days ago announcing that there would be a 4th book. So they heard it first before we even got here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to shut up for a minute. Let the ladies talk. If you guys have something to add.
Well, there'll be a little bit of a sneak peek to Dawn's characters coming in September.
Yes, that's right.
Debbie and Kat have finished reading it. My beta readers have finished reading it, and it's in the hands of my editor right now. But Appalachia Fair is going to be released on September 1st, and it will be featuring, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 of Dawn's characters. And we'll find out a little bit about what they've been up to in the last, 4 years since the last release. And so it's going to be, it was so much fun writing. I had such a blast writing it.
Yeah, when I was reading it, I just kept grinning at all the little spots where the characters show up, and they show up in character, and just knowing that the readers will really enjoy seeing them show up like they do, and acting just like Dawn would write them.
I hope I did her proud.
I think you did, for sure. I think that she would really appreciate the sneakiness and the finesse that you did that.
It was almost like, I mean, when we were researching her books and digging up all this information, she left so many clues. It was almost like she planned it.
Yep.
And
oh, I'm sure she's a control freak. I'm sure she's up there giving you little clues. She's throwing breadcrumbs big time.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun to write, and just getting into her characters again. I read Low Tide again, and just the storyline and the connection was really, really fun, because she made me a character in that book, and made me a character who was in the Marine Corps with her father. So I just took that and ran with it. It was a lot of fun.
The way you threaded everything together was really creative. Just the thought that you put into it, and just making sure it all made sense. I think the fans will find it really seamless.
I hope so. It was a blast to write. And we went to Appalach just before, right when I was starting to write it in March. And we stayed on St. George Island for a week, and just immersed in the ambiance, I guess. It rained almost every day, but it didn't matter. We had such a good time there.
Had you decided that you were going to write this, and that's why you went to Appalach, or did you, when you were in Appalach, go, "Oh, I know what I'm doing"?
No, I was already about 5,000 or 6,000 words into it when we went down there. I take my spring vacation whenever my editor has a book, so I don't have anything else to do, so I go on vacation. but I started this one early because it was eating at me. And then I managed to go there and spend a week, and I met Kirk, had coffee at Apalachicola Chocolate and Coffee Company, bought a t-shirt there, and climbed to the top of the lighthouse, walked on the beach where Maggie's first investigation took place. And it was just so cool. And it's a nice little town. Everybody should take a vacation there, but not all at one time because there's only 2,000 people in the town.
Yeah, I think Kirk would be calling all of us.
Well, hopefully he's watching.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything about it, but can you at least tell me, and the ladies will know what I'm talking about with this, do I need to brush up on my Martin Sheen accent?
Just one line.
Okay, good.
All you have to do is
Gotta
say,
get it right.
you just
I
gotta.
know. I did that character
I
one
understand
time.
you're selling drugs in my town.
Oh, that's okay.
That's his only line.
I can actually hear Sheen saying that. Probably in Apocalypse Now, but okay.
Hmm.
Good. Let me ask people that have read Dawn's books probably know all about the Forgotten Coast, Florida suspense series. But when I hear people talk about their favorite book, often it's Low Tide, but often I hear See You. Can you all tell me a little bit about See You and what makes it so special?
That was my favorite. That was the first book I read. After reading it, I suggested that she try her hand at something a little bit more maritime, and that's how the series came to be. But it's a phenomenal book, really good story. Not a romance, not really a love story, but a relationship story.
I think that's why it caught so many people and made it their favorite book, is because most people were kind of put off by the fear that it was a romance novel, and it just really shocked people, and also shocked them because it hooked them too. And then it's a standalone, so that it's kind of characters that you kind of want to keep reading about, but you know that just it won't do it justice to have another book,
Mhm.
right? I think it's just very special. And she has a lot of small little works that haven't been released that I grew up reading that are kind of like that. So I'm glad that she got one of them out.
Did she
Yes,
let you read them before they were released?
I did not read them on purpose. So I'm not naturally, I love reading, but I have a very busy schedule. So my mom spoiled me. This is kind of this is going to be a funny little story, but she read all of her books out loud to me. Most of the time when I was younger, of course, she read to me a lot. And as I got older, I got, spoiled and busy and too many kids. And I would always be like, I just can't read a book without your voice in it. And I had talked to her for a long time about doing audio actually, but she didn't think she had the capacity to keep her voice and also do an audio. But yeah, so she actually read her series, the Forgotten Coast series, to me out loud, sometimes in the car while we were on the way to the doctors, and at chemo during her treatments she would read the books, and in our hotel room she would read them to me as I fell asleep. She'd get mad at me because she'd be like, you missed an important part. She'd wake me up and she'd have to read the section over again. And I told her that her voice is soothing. I can't help it. So
Or did she do the character voices?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, of course, those came naturally for her. Nobody can top Miss Evangeline in Mom's voice, and that's something that I will cherish for a long time.
Did you, by any chance, record her
I
reading
wish I
anything?
had.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
man.
What a
I
great memory that
begged
would be.
her. I begged her and begged her and begged her to record them. And that's actually a small little regret of mine, is that I wish I had pushed her a little bit, because moving forward into thinking about audiobooks, moving forward, we will definitely have audiobooks. And that's something I struggled with for several months, was I only hear her voice, and it's going to be hard, and we actually have already found an audiobook voice for her Forgotten Coast series. We're just not quite ready to venture down that yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big undertaking. I mean, it's hiring a voice actor. Nick knows. I mean, you develop a relationship with that person, and it goes beyond just being friends. They get to understand your innermost thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Nick's changed the way I write. I mean, it's just flat out.
It's tricky though. I've narrated. Sometimes things don't work out quite well, you know, and you want to be absolutely sure. Otherwise, I don't know how much detail to go into, but you know, Dawn did have 2 audiobooks out, but I don't
Yeah.
think she to
We
continue.
learned a lesson, yeah. And I mean it's just part of it. It's like I think of it like picking out your baby's name. You know, it's something that's very personal and very specific to that story, and it's really hard to just
Mm.
it's hard to pick, it's hard to look for, it's hard to shop for it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now after mom. It's definitely hard because there's no way I'm super protective and super particular about moving forward. I'd rather it leave where it is than continue the wrong way.
Yeah, that makes real good sense. And it's a lot of work. I mean, what you're doing, trying to get the rights back, and you've accomplished that. Create an LLC, you've accomplished that. Getting the books uploaded, you're working on that. It's a lot of work, and it's
Yeah. Well, Debbie kept me alive. And you, actually everybody here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is the team.
Mhm.
But talking about CU, one thing I'll mention is that Dawn lived for a while with my grandmother. So we had the same grandmother. And I lived far away from that grandmother. So I didn't really know her. But when I read CU, Dawn made our grandmother a character in the book. And so I felt like I was getting to know my grandmother by reading that book. And the interesting thing is, when Wayne and I were talking about Appalachia Fair, we were trying to figure out how old Maggie was and when her birthday was. And Wayne said, you know what? It's pretty likely that Dawn would have given her a birthday that was, that meant something to her. And I looked in my notes somewhere and I found that our grandmother was born on July 1st, and we knew that Maggie was born in early July. And so we figured out that Dawn had given Maggie our grandmother's birthday. So that was something cool to find out.
And that's today. What a coincidence.
Yes,
Oh.
it is.
yeah, it's
Huh.
I just so
Aw.
July
Not a
1st.
coincidence, synchronicity.
Happy birthday, Maggie, and happy birthday, Grandma.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She was born in 1911.
Oh wow.
So I have
Sorry.
in my notes here to ask about Sweet Tea Press.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Too
I'll
early.
let you jump in. Let's call it done.
Yes. So one of the sad things during this journey of kind of revamping everything is that we were strongly advised to dissolve the old LLC, Sweet Tea Press. That was something that actually probably held us up for a long time, considering whether to continue on with a different LLC and what that meant for us. It was wrapped up in an estate, too many complicated things and not really worth mentioning. But in short, we have started a new LLC and started moving everything over to that new LLC, and we'll continue through it. And that's McKenna Legacy Press.
Well, that's a good name. It explains exactly what it is.
Mhm.
Do you have to, I guess you got to go to Amazon for that. You got to go to Audible for that. You got to.
Yes, we are still kind of in limbo in between a lot of mom's files were really jumbled up. Her computer was locked. We didn't have the password. There was a lot of potholes on the way. So we've kind of cleared what we can, and there's some things that are lost forever, and that's just something we'll have to work with. But we're in the middle. So right now we still have Sweet Tea on Amazon with all the books live, and then we're still kind of in the process of moving, which is something that I'm trying to get done this week. Moving everything over to the new LLC, and then we will be completely moving forward. We have some updates on the website to do and everything, but
Well, that's good.
So I have to say that in this whole scenario, writing the books is the easy part. It's
yeah.
so far, the two ladies here are doing an amazing work behind the scenes, trying to put everything back together and build a stable foundation that we can move forward on. Dawn's success hit so fast that she was so engaged with her readers and living engaged with her people, and the books were coming out, and the foundation just she didn't have time to lay it down right. And then
I think we're all guilty of that. I mean, when things start going good, I mean,
yeah,
I'm still using a PayPal account that is actually my wife's. My Amazon account is under my old email address from when I lived in Florida 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Eventually, I mean, when I might get all this together.
You got to write it,
Yeah, that's the hard stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So cleaning up the behind the scenes stuff has been an incredible challenge, and Debbie and Kat are doing an amazing job getting things put back together.
Yeah, I through this whole time, I have realized that my mom did all of that by herself. And I mean, everything, Facebook posts, most of the edits for a long time she did. My grandmother helped her, and all the cover photo, delegating back and forth. And I feel like I can only do like 10% right now, and I feel like I'd be buried without Debbie there. And Axel, he's a good cheerleader. He's the one where he's like, no, it's okay. You guys are gonna survive. Take a deep breath.
Well, it is a lot of work, and it's all self-learning. And what Dawn learned, it was over a period of years, and we all learned the same thing over a long period of time. And it's, to us, that have been doing it for a while, it just comes natural. But for somebody to step in without any prior knowledge, it's a huge undertaking, and you're really to be commended. Sure. You've done a great job.
So I have to tell a little story about my most recent book, Not Alone. Best book I've written, in my opinion. And so I sent it off to an agent. I got an agent. They were shopping it around. So from the time that happened until the agent finally said, I can't get you what you need for this book, I'm sending it back to you, I self-published the book. In that year and a half, I lost so much knowledge, and the business changed so much in a year and a half. I was not able to sell that book. It's an amazing book, and it completely flopped because just taking a year and a half absence from being in the process of marketing self-publishing books, everything shifted too much for me to catch up. So it's tough to catch up.
It's an ever-changing world, and it's just going to continue changing. But there's some really cool things on the horizon.
Well, do we have any YouTube questions?
And not a one.
What?
I'm thinking maybe I'm not on the channel or something.
Okay.
Or we're just really good at answering all of them before they have them.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I know we got people watching, don't we, Jordan?
Yeah, there's I think there's 11 people watching.
And none of them's asking any questions. Okay, well, I guess we are just answering every question as we go.
I did want to mention also about our Dawn's newsletter subscribers. There was a snafu with MailerLite. And without going into too many details, if you signed up for Dawn's newsletter within the last 4 to 6 months, I would ask you to go ahead and sign up again, because they lost a number of our subscribers. And if you just want to be sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information about what's going on with McKenna Legacy, it's not going to hurt to sign up again. If you're on there twice, you're only we'll filter out the duplicates. But please do go ahead and sign up on there. Kat, if you want to say more about that.
Yeah, also, as I'm going through replying to a lot of the comments on the newsletter, I'm realizing we've switched to MailChimp, and a lot of the emails are valid emails, but they've moved into like spam folders and stuff, and it's some people I actually recognize. And I think what's happening, and I was thinking about this earlier, it's showing up as McKenna Legacy Press. And of course, if you don't open the newsletter, you don't know that that's Sweet Tea Press. So we may need to send out a little, but anyone who is or was subscribed, I urge you to go check your spam and make sure that it's not in the spam folder, and add it back into the other side too, because there's several emails that I think is mostly accidental. So I don't know exactly how to fix that. That's still something I'm learning. I think just clarification and communication, giving everybody a time, to kind of like acclimate. Obviously we did a Facebook post too. So I think once everybody gets on like up to date, it'll be better, but go sign up again. And you won't see Sweet Tea Press. It'll be McKenna Legacy.
I wasn't signed on to YouTube. I was in the chat, but I never saw the welcome. So I rebooted it, and welcome to the chat. So now I'm in there.
Yeah, we do have one comment in the live chat, not a question.
Oh, well, Debbie, if you're on there, why don't you handle the live chat? And that way I don't have to
I'll read what it is.
here.
Jean Marie Teresa. And she says, "This is my first time joining. I've read all of everyone's books here. I'm an aspiring writer, but only just beginning. No questions now, but loving this." And Bill Black says, hello. So anyway, thank you, Jean and Bill. That's cool that
Welcome aboard, Jean, and welcome back, Bill. You've been diving this week, Bill. I saw that. Bill Black is a treasure hunter.
Fun.
I have a question about the Stillwater Suspense series. And it's sort of a question about Dawn, I suppose. What's the deal with the cat? Which is one of my absolute favorite things about it, is the love-hate relationship between the protagonist and the cat. Did she have a cat like that?
So
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that's a me question or a you question.
Well, I will tell you what she told me is, as we were in the early stages of designing the story, she told me that one of the favorite characters in the book she'd written so far was stupid. And so our main character needed to have an animal familiar that could kind of, not be stupid, but be in that role. And at that time, she was working very closely with Tammy LeBrecq, who had a black cat named Keys. And so those were the two pieces that came together to create that character that I'm aware of. So, Kat, if you have more information or more insight.
Well, my mom could have written a whole book with just from an animal's point of view. I think that she liked animals more than people for sure. And there always has to be an interesting animal. We grew up with never a normal pet. None of our pets were normal. I argue that I don't know if any actually are normal. But if they are, they're not at our house.
In fact, the other animal from the Forgotten Coast series is Coco the dog, and Coco is growing older. So do you want to make the announcement that came out in the newsletter?
Yes, we have a successor for Coco. And she's a little lab chow mix. She's at my feet right now, laying on the air conditioning vent. Our air conditioning broke conveniently at the beginning of the heat of the summer. But so she is laying on the fan, taking it all from me. But yeah, she is cute, and my sister Becca has named her Maggie.
It's a perfect
So
name.
I thought so. Yeah, it worked out nice,
If
and it's
she
really
wakes
been nice.
up, we would love to see her.
Yes, I don't know. I'm on my computer. I don't know if I can probably sneak it.
And she's just a little puppy. Pick her up.
Oh,
Well, she's
God.
sleeping.
Little. I don't know. You don't want her to
If you
wake
guys
up. Let's
if you guys
see.
want to see Maggie,
Oh,
if you guys want to see Maggie, you
see
sign
her?
up for the newsletter, all right? Because there's
Oh,
pictures
yeah,
of
we
Maggie.
have
in
And
it.
pictures.
mom's
Her in the news.
chicken.
Kat and I went back and forth in emails in the last couple of days after she announced Maggie, and she showed the pictures on the newsletter. And we had a very similar dog. His
Yeah,
name is Bill,
yeah.
and you are in for trouble because that chows
Oh,
are
she's
chows are a
awake now,
very
so I guess I can.
distinct. The chows are a very distinct breed. They're very aloof, and they have their own way of doing things, and they're not going to accept anybody else's. Look at that,
Oh,
Jordy.
I mean, how could you not?
what a cutie. Wow.
I know. This
Does
is
that
why
not
I
look
keep
like
coming
Bill?
home. Yeah. She's falling back asleep on my lap. But yeah, I wasn't supposed to get her. We actually had promised to take a black full-blown lab puppy that wasn't ready yet. They're just now 5 weeks old, and I bought chickens, went to my friend's house. She's gonna raise the chickens for me, and she had 17 of those cute little puppies. And so here I am in trouble. Yeah.
Wow.
And we've got a
Mhm.
bunch of new timers
17.
on the YouTube chat.
yeah.
Imagine that when you join. It works much
Hey,
better that
Kat,
way.
did you want to say something about the beta readers?
Yes, we are looking for beta readers. We don't know where the list of her original beta readers. I know a couple of them, and they've already reached out to me. But we are looking for new beta readers. We want beta readers that have Florida twang and hopefully live around the area still. Someone that can keep us updated with things that happen and new events and help Axel and his possibly new co-author kind of keep it going. Mom did a lot of research and also had a natural just a natural talent for that. So we're gonna have to work 10 times harder to fill in for her. So
I
any
know a
beta
couple of
readers?
authors that live right in that area. In fact, what three or four, don't we, Nick?
Well, it was Kirk for sure, and there's another I'm not thinking of. But yeah, we could probably get a couple there.
So anybody that has been a beta reader for Dawn in the past that wants to continue filling that role for us, please reach out to Kat and let her know that you are available.
Yeah.
The other thing is, this just popped into my head, but if anybody out there is watching right now that lives in Port St. Joe, if you are a business owner and you might want your business mentioned in the book, let me know. I might be able to work it in because I want to make this as local and relevant as possible. So
Excellent. Well, we are past the top of the hour, so we are we're in overtime.
overtime. Okay.
And my
Thank y'all for
dog
being
is
on the
sitting
show
by the
with us.
bowl,
What's Momo doing?
sitting by her food bowl, staring
Oh
at
yeah, it's 7:00.
it.
That's when you know.
I think there was one other thing we wanted to put out there and just kind of tease it a little bit. Nothing specific for sure yet, but Dawn and I had on the calendar set up a book signing in Port St. Joe. And I had got leave approved and had started making travel arrangements. And then she ended up passing before we were able to do that. And it turned out the date that we set for that was the date of her memorial a couple of years ago. But she and I never met in person, and I've never actually been to Port St. Joe. The only time I've ever been to Florida was for that one NINC conference. So I need to get some Florida experience. And I'm looking at hopefully this fall making a trip down there and talking about maybe making an event out of it. So I just wanted to put that out there as a possibility, something that might be coming up in the near future.
Well, the NINC conference is in September. No better time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we're trying to get a signing set up at Doc Ford's Rum Bar and Grill in St. Pete.
Oh, yeah?
And you would not need to be a NINC conference person specifically. We want all the local tropical authors and the NINC people to combine and take over one of their places. So you could be a surrogate signer for Dawn, have her, some of her books there, but also the Stillwaters, if you're interested.
We had a really
I
large
am
time
interested.
there last year. Randy wasn't able to come, but he's promised to be there this year. But he did talk to each one of us. We had about 20 people there, and we passed a tablet around and did a video chat with him. That
Oh,
was
wow.
pretty cool. So anyway, we are beyond the top of the hour now, so we're going to go ahead and close the show out. Thank you all for being on here with us. It's always fun to see everybody again, and especially people we haven't seen in a while. And thanks to our sponsors and supporters, Down Island Press, Aurora Publicity, Pirate Radio, How Not to Sail. I didn't do the sticky note again.
You didn't do the sticky note. And you have all these examples of sticky notes here.
All right. Well, if I left anybody out, I apologize. Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night.